haven't done a video in a while. Winter, truck driving takes up a lot of my attention during the winter driving stuff, especially if you're up on I-80 in Wyoming and up northwest there, which I'm a lot up there in Ohio right now, coming up on Dayton, Ohio here. Still working on my book. I had to slow down a little bit and deal with some business issues. Taxes. Everybody talks about it, and you know better, but you don't do better. It's not the way it's supposed to be. If you do better, you do better. That's the way it's supposed to be. But I have my own business and got an S corporation set up, and there's some rules and stuff that an uneducated guy like myself didn't know about. I just heard tax break, S corporation, and that's about all I heard. And so I set up the S corporation, and I didn't do my paperwork, and I guess I got my S corp suspended for not doing an annual report, which I had to find out what all that was about. And so I'm in the process of working all that out. So I had to suspend my little YouTube videos and get my mind back in my game of what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. So it is what it is. I look like I just woke up out of bed because I just did. And I'm already on the road here. Try to get on over here to Chicago today. The thing I want to touch base about today is about, we're so quick to talk about what other people aren't doing right. We're so quick to talk about, what our boss ain't doing, how he's fucked up. We're so quick to talk about the next man that live next door to us, how fucked up he is, and what he's doing in his yard and his household. And it's okay to recognize all that. It's not always the wisest thing to speak on it when your yard ain't right, when your household ain't together, when your job ain't like it's supposed to be. For instance, let's just use this trucking as an example. When you get out here in the trucking thing, out here truck driving, there's things that you're supposed to do, like your pre-trips, for example. You get out, you thump the tires, you check your oil pressure, your oil levels, and you go through and check all your brakes and make sure all your lines are good. You check your trailers and you do all that stuff. And you're also supposed to check your trailer inspections, which is it's a box in the front of your trailer where you open it up and there's some paperwork in there. One of the things that are in the trailer in that box is a registration for the trailer. You got to make sure you have that. You don't have that, you get pulled in for an inspection, you're going to have a problem. You're going to get shut down. Your trailer ain't inspected. You're going to have another sheet in there that shows it has an annual inspection. You can get them done at Love's, or you can get them done at a company that you work for, or whatever. It's your job to make sure that shit is in there. It's not the company's job. They can't come out and check the trailers. I picked this trailer up out of New York City. They're not going to go from Kansas to New York City to check the trailer. There's just some things as a man you need to do. As we get older, we recognize this shit, and we don't pass this shit down to the younger generation. Hey, man, there's some shit that you need to know, that you need to be handling. If I could talk to myself 20 years ago, there's a lot of shit I wouldn't do. A lot of dumbass shit I put out on Facebook. Immature shit, a lot of shit I put on MySpace when it was here. That just shows how old I am. And just in general, one of the things that people that know me know I speak highly of is we talk about things that go on the street all the time, killings and murders, and we talking about senseless killings and murders. We're not talking about you revenge your brother's death, your mama's rape, your mama's death. We're not talking about that type of shit. We're talking about somebody said something to you, made you mad, you went and got a pistol, got in the car, drove up, shot him, and drove off. Now your ass sitting in the penitentiary 35 years. We talking about shooting at people that you don't even know because of what color they wear, or because they from another neighborhood and they in your neighborhood. That you got yourself involved in that. We talking about that senseless type of shit. It ain't making no money. Very rarely. I won't say never. You know, sometimes you control a certain area of your neighborhood and don't let somebody come in and make money in your area. I can understand. I won't say I can understand, but I hear what you're saying. But we need to see past the walls of the neighborhood, and a lot of people can't. And what a lot of that comes down to, and this is let me get back to what I was saying, is men not helping raise their kids. There are some women that do just fine by themselves. Nowadays, you almost got to put a pistol to your kid's head to make them do what they're supposed to do. It seems like if you're a single parent. I know a lot of single women that they work 2 jobs, and yet they got to come home and find out where their child is, the one that they're taking care of. What's he getting into? You don't have time to get into what his business is because you're so busy trying to handle the business for the both of you, as far as the financial aspect of it, as far as paying the rent, as far as paying the bills. And this dude that done, dropped the baby off at your house done ran off and ain't doing his responsibility. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was selfish like that. I was worried about, doing what I thought I had to do and saying, well, my baby's mama's living with her mom and dad and they got a nice house and the kid's fine, and I didn't think about the future. Luckily, I had 2 daughters and I didn't have any biological sons. I raised some boys, but I didn't have biological ones of my own, that they're not out here taking somebody's life. It could as well be. It could well be if I would have had some boys. But what we don't do is we don't take the lessons that we learn as men and turn around and hand those down to our kids because we run off and leave them. Now, that's not every man. I salute the men that stay and do what they're supposed to do, or the men that pay their child support and are a daily or a part of their kids' life on a daily deal. But if we keep doing what we're doing, the generations are getting worse and worse and worse. And now you got a bunch of kids that don't want to work but run around shooting people. They don't want to do nothing. I found that when I got an opportunity and I was able to jump on it, I did. And it's still a learning curve for me. I'm still learning shit every day, and I'm still not exactly where I'm supposed to be. But if you look my name up on the internet, Earl Cadillac Hunter, you see my picture. You see a story about me in the LA newspaper, and that's my name. But if you look up ECP Transportation in Wichita, Kansas, you see it's a trucking business owned by me, Earl Hunter, same guy. And the reality of it is that there's a lot of things that I've had to learn and mistakes that I made, as far as and I'm still learning today, taxes. I remember when I got behind in my taxes, it was like $18,000. And people said, well, goddamn, that's a lot of money. It's not in the trucking world. Okay, you can make that 3 or 4 months, easy. And still pay your bills, pretty much. If you work hard and got some really good loads. My point being is that people were calling me though and telling me that knew I was going through this. Oh man, so you just probably gonna quit, huh, and go back to working for somebody. I couldn't even believe I was hearing this. I was like, no, it's another lesson that I just have to learn, and I'm gonna have to go through those trials and tribulations. But in reality, I feel depressed sometimes, but most of the time I feel blessed that I have that problem to wake up to, because there's a lot of other people who don't have that problem to wake up to. They got different kinds of problems like hunger, rent, food, clothes, transportation issues, things that are way worse than what I'm going through. And they don't know, they can't see past the wall of the neighborhood on anything to do. So they figure, well, I don't have any other tools, just what's in here in front of me. What's in front of me? My shoes and my pistol. That's all I got. So I'm going to put them on and lace them up and load up and go out the door and figure out who the fuck I'm going to fuck out of some shit today so that I can pay my bills, so I can do what I got to do. But that said, that's where us older men need to step up and say, hey, I found something over here. It's my duty as your father to tell you about this. I found a way out. You know, you got to go back and lead them out past the walls. You got to go back and get them out of the situation they in. At one time, you loved this woman that you with. You know, my ex-wives, I'm not going to lie, I love them. Some more than others, but I love all of them to a certain degree. I guess what I'm getting at is that even if you don't love them, there's a child that didn't ask to be brought into this world, but it's here now. And that's partly your responsibility. It's a 50-50. 50% yours, 50% hers. What are you doing? You know, it'd be fucked up, ironic. I've heard of this before, where a child actually runs into his daddy in the street and kills his own daddy senselessly, not even knowing it. You know, that's ironic. But nevertheless, everybody wants to talk about, you know, in certain neighborhoods, I won't say everybody, about what the white man's doing or what the man's doing. Okay? And we've heard that story 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 times. And 1,000,000 times it's true. Everybody knows this. Okay? You obviously know it, right? You obviously know that those traps are there and the walls built and the restrictions, but then you're gonna go get a beer or a blunt and go sit down on your ass and say, well, fuck it, I'm not even gonna do nothing. But the kid's mama goes to work and keeps trying all by herself. So what would that do if both of you were trying? You know, and a lot of those mothers make it out. A lot of those mothers are blessed enough to get the child together and get him through the trials and tribulations by herself. So how much more faster would it have been if you would have been involved? You strong enough to get out in the street and get your respect and make a motherfucker get in line and all this shit, but you ain't strong enough to deal with your child at home and get him in line. That's the issue. It don't make any sense. So I know that when you are trying to handle business and negatives and roadblocks keep getting thrown in your face, that you're like, hey man, I don't know what the fuck to do. Well, you don't sit down and stop. That's what you don't do. You got to keep that momentum moving. And if you go down the wrong road, okay, well, you turn around and come back and start over. And you keep going until you find the one that's going to work. And then you move there, just like I did with this trucking thing. I went from selling gold teeth and doing bootleg shit, turning on people's cable and shit, and out here breaking in construction sites and stealing tools and anything I could do to make money to where I'm at. Do I have anything really to brag about? No, not really. But to the motherfuckers that I was out there breaking in them buildings with and stealing cars with and doing all that other dumbass shit that I was doing, you know, years ago, them motherfuckers that are still doing the same thing, they think I'm somebody big. They think I'm somebody important when they see me pull up in my car and I have my jewelry on and my clothes, and they think I'm somebody big. Maybe to another motherfucker I'm not. But at the end of the day, it's progression. And that's what this is all about, progression. Once you start getting into different shit and start having some things, your whole frame of mind and thought process changes. And you see shit that you never seen before, ever. It was like, man, this shit was sitting in front of you the whole time, but it's like you had to put your 3D movie glasses on to see it. And when you start having some things and doing some shit, things start, you know, changing. That's all I can say. So, you know, hopefully here pretty soon my book will be getting out. I've been trying to get it out, but you know, things have happened, and like I said, I've had to deal with, and I've had to put a freeze on it, but I will start working on it here again soon. I still haven't started my trucking channel up yet. I am going to start that. I might even start that this week. It's about nothing but truck driving. for people that don't come from that background. From people that are just starting out or thinking about truck driving. What's it about? Is that something I want to do? Is it something I don't? It's an option if you don't have nothing. It's a hell of an option if you don't have nothing. Let me rephrase that. It's a hell of an option if you don't have nothing. So look for that coming up soon.